The two most important commands, if that's a right word, that we can train our dog is to come when called, because if a dog doesn't come when called and they're running towards a car in the street, you know what's going to happen. The second most important command is what we call the yuck command. And basically it means spit something out of your mouth when we tell you yuck. When we take puppies out for a walk, we don't want them eating poop. We don't want them eating a dead toad. We don't want them eating a dead bird. So when a dog picks something up in his mouth, puppies pick up rocks all the time. We teach our dogs a yuck command. When we say yuck, you got to spit out what's in your mouth. And that's what this video is going to be about today. So here's the basic concept of how we set this up in the beginning of training is, number one, your dog has to be on leash all the time. If your dog, quite frankly, won't come when called, or if your dog won't spit something out when you tell him to spit it out, it should be on a leash. The way we set it up is we'll take an item that we think that the dog wants to have, be it like extra treats, and we'll put a little pile over here and we'll walk our dog by it. So if the dog wants to go over to this little pile of treats on the ground, we'll start by saying, no, yuck, here, and we'll redirect them back onto us with a better quality treat. With puppies, you might have to do this 100 times. Set it up. Do it all the time. Do it on your walks. But always have a higher value treat with you than what you're going to use as a lure over here. The bottom line on the yuck command is, once our dog knows and understands what yuck means, if they blow us off, they're going to have a correction. Now, I'm going to go back and repeat what I say in all my training courses. The purpose of a correction is not to punish a dog. The purpose of a correction is to get compliance. So once our dog understands what yuck means, if he blows us off, because he's very interested in this over there, we say yuck, he blows us off, then you have to determine what level of correction is going to work with your dog. My little Rosie, my little Shih Tzu that's about that big, I don't have to give her much of a correction. I only have to give her a pretty strong voice correction and she'll turn and come. If you have a dog that you give a pop on the leash and he looks at you and he says, is that the best you got? That dog's going to need a stronger correction. And how hard that correction has to be is completely up to that dog. He needs a correction strong enough to get the behavior change to leave that alone. If you go too hard, you run the risk of damaging your relationship with that dog. So remember, the purpose of a correction is to get a behavior change. It's not to punish your dog. And new dog trainers often think that they have to punish the dog for not doing something that we ask. And that's not what we're trying to, that's not good dog training.
Walk a circle where you have your dog in front of you, right? As if you're doing a backwards front. And you're just going to be a human pest dispenser here. When she's following you, you can just be yes and rewarding as you're walking around. But you have to keep your leash short enough to where she can't dive bomb on that. Okay. This is always going to be more exciting than what you have in your hand typically. So we want to make sure that she's paying attention to you. So just tell her, let's go and pay yes reward.
Good.
Yes reward. And you don't have to correct her, you just kind of, yeah, just that. Yes. Make sure you're marking it. I don't hear any markers.
Yes.
So the yes needs to come before the presentation
Yes.
of the food.
Okay.
She's looking at you. Yes, that's what I want. And then a reward. Yes. Perfect. Now go the other way because dogs are learned visually, right? You change the direction, all of a sudden it changes the picture and she can't do it. She'd look, make a little sound. Shorten her leash. Yes. Good job. Very slow. Very slow. Yes. Good. Just keep doing that.
So you're laughing at me.
And you're going to do this until you're almost able to walk over this tree. Yes.
In the next video, you're going to watch Cindy working maybe and Magnum on the yuck command. This is not a difficult exercise to treat. We've put some Happy Howies on the floor there. That's the white object. And when maybe looks at it and pays attention, Cindy simply says yuck. And then when maybe turns and comes back to her,
She rewards her with a higher value food reward
Walk around it.
than what the Happy Howies is.
Walk in a circle around it. Three rep, maybe. Show her 3 times, and that's the end of it.
Yes. Yuck. No.
That's a hard one.
Yes. I mean, I would say the first 2 reps were good.
Yeah.
The thing is, maybe he's obviously a well-trained dog. Now, this is an advanced exercise that you can do when you're comfortable with your dog understanding the yuck command.
Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Good. Leave it. That might be a little hard. Yeah. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Leave it. Yes, good boy. That's it, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what a good job. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. You're adorable. Good boy. That's a good boy.
I think this gives you an idea on the kinds of things you can set up with your dog to teach it the leave it or the yuck command. As you see that your dog is starting to understand what it is, and then he ignores you, then you start to layer in corrections. And remember, how hard the correction is depends upon the age and the temperament of your dog. The goal being to get a behavior change. So if you only need to raise your voice a little bit and say, no, leave it, that may be enough. It may be that you have to give the dog a leash correction with a prong collar on. I can't tell you, no one can tell you how hard to correct your dog unless they're standing there and they watch the dog in training.